What's up guys, it's Manga time once again. I'm here today to bring you my review of Bleach 627, The Creation. And I'm not going to lie, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed for a couple of reasons. One, I really thought, I had been hyping this chapter up myself, so it's my own fault. But I really thought we were going to see Yhwach, the Stern Ritter, lording it over in their palace, changing the world, doing all this kind of stuff, or they're not, they're now ruling the world, and I'd love to have seen some of that. We literally get none of that. We literally get none of that. And that's where the second problem comes in. We get nothing. There's literally nothing in this chapter. So that it's really disappointing. But I'll get into it a bit more in a minute. Let's see what we've actually got for now. So it starts with Ichigo and the others travelling in Yukio's box, and basically it starts with Ichigo beginning to make a bit of a speech. He says, "I'll say this just in case," and I think you're supposed to believe he's about to say something like, "I'll say this just in case we die," but you guys are amazing or something like that. But we don't get to hear it because Yukio says, I'm not moving. By the way, you can go crazy without me. And naturally, this doesn't go down very well with some of the people in the box. Ganju's like, what the hell are you talking about? And, of course, Ganju doesn't know what Yukio's like. This is very in keeping with Yukio's character. And I have to admit, I do like the interaction we're getting here with some, just characters who are never expected to ever interact before. And that's quite nice when that happens. Ganju's like, I don't know who you are. But and apparently everyone introduced themselves a while back, which would have been interesting to see. But Ganju's like, I don't know who you are, but when we're fighting, we're fighting with our lives here. We're putting our lives on the line, and you're saying you're not going to move from this hiding spot. And Yukio's like, well, I got roped into this, so I don't even have to do what I'm doing right now. And Yukio's not the most charitable person, so he's like, you're lucky you're getting this. And Ganju's like, fighting with obligation isn't fighting for your life. He's really pissed off. He's like, If it doesn't matter if you sit here and hide, everything is going to be destroyed anyway. It doesn't matter. And Yukio takes this to mean that Ganju thinks they're going to lose. And this reminds me an awful lot of the conversation that Miuri and Byakuya had just before Ichigo arrived in Karakura Town way back. And so it does feel to me like it might actually be setting up for the finale, which is a little bit depressing. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Basically, Ichigo steps in between them and really starts to show off his maturity, actually. And I have to be honest, I really like this scene. Ichigo's like, stop it, Ganju. There's no point in getting pissed off at him now. And Ichigo actually tells Yukio to stay here anyway, rather than flipping out at him like the old Ichigo might have done. He then turns to Ruruka, and this next bit is really good. This is meaningful Ruruka scenes. He turns around to Ruruka and he's like, Ruruka, you stay here. And I actually love the fact that, I really like the fact that Ruruka isn't happy with this. She wants to go and fight side by side with them. That's not what I expected. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then Ichigo's like, for someone like you whose powers involve the cute, there's no freaking way you're going to be any help in this next fight, which I quite liked. But then he turns around to her and he says, but you still did all of this for us, so thanks. And that's really good. He's acknowledging what she's done, but he's mature enough to realise that she has to stay behind. And I like this. Some people have to stay behind in the fighting. Not everyone can deal with what's coming up next. And Ruruka gets all blushy because obviously she fancies Ichigo. And I have to say the character artwork here is absolutely on point. It's absolutely fantastic. Some of Kuro's best, in fact, at portraying emotion. And this man knows how to draw his characters. I don't think anyone can argue with that. But Ruruka's like, I didn't do this for you, but she obviously she kind of did. But Ichigo's like, can I ask you one more favor? Please stay here with Yukio and protect him so that we can escape when the time comes. And I love that. That's Ichigo's maturity there. That's Ichigo trying to make Ruruka feel involved without actually having her on the front lines. And I think that's really good. Ruruka, agrees, and she's blushing, and that's nice interaction. I like that. And Ichigo kind of walks away smiling, and he really does seem like he's grown up here. It really seems like he's grown up. If I can have a comparison, he really feels like Naruto now that Naruto is the 7th Hokage. It really feels like that, the way they're both these mature kind of leader characters. Obviously Naruto a bit more so, but Ichigo's done some growing up, man. He's done some growing up. I'm proud. But Ganju then notes this himself. He's like, you've grown a lot, Ichigo. Obviously these two haven't seen each other for freaking ages. But Ichigo jokes, he's like, really, where? And then Ganju's just like, I guess not. But clearly Ganju doesn't want to carry on that conversation. Orihime and Chad shoot each other a little smile, which is nice. It's nice. And when read as a volume, this chapter won't be so annoying. It's just, on a weekly basis, we waited a week for this. There's basically nothing else happens in this chapter other than that. But I digress. we go back to the Seirete and everything is going to shit. I thought the buildings were blowing up, someone like crumbling, but someone in the comments, I think it was, said they were floating in the sky. That's what actually seems to be happening. And they've actually built the freaking door now. Like, Shinji is standing in front of it. There's an actual door. And, you know, Soikon's like, why is this happening? Why? And then Shinji gets pissed off, man. He's like, we've put all our work in to make this door, and now the Quincy are doing this. And we get lots of concerned faces. You know, Renji, Rukia, Urahara, Bazby, Lil Toto, Aizen, Shinsui. Everyone's just kind of like, oh, crap. And then it says, we're here. And I was like, oh, crap, this is it. We're going to get to see Yhwach ruling on his throne, Hashimoth and the Elite Sternritters. But no, we go back to Ichigo. And I was like, what the hell? We're literally, but at this point, we're 4 pages away from the end. And I was like, oh, Christ, we're not going to see anything. You know, I have to give credit where credit's due. We get really good artwork in this chapter. There's a really nice panel of just the lot of them. Well, not all of them. We're missing the Fullbringers, and Grimjo's been shoved to the side somewhere. But they're all standing there looking like badasses. And it is making me excited for what's coming up next. I have to be honest. I'm really looking forward to these fights. However, you know, Ichigo's like, yeah, let's go. And I like that Yoruichi's taking the leadership role here. If Shinsui dies in this fight, which might happen, but it might not. But if he dies, I can see Yoruichi maybe taking over as Captain Commander from the way she's acted around these guys lately, but that's just pure speculation. Urahara then says that the door is finally ready and everyone begins to step through it. However, as Ichigo begins to step through his door, he's met with a rather nasty surprise. Rather than seeing the Soul King's palace, they actually are faced now with Wandenreich streets in what is an amazing double spread. And that's the second double spread we've had in this chapter, so that's why we're 2 pages short of the full 17, which is a bit annoying. But, you know, this double page spread specifically is really nice. It's just Ichigo staring out into the Wandenreich's palace, and it looks incredible. I've always loved the Wandenreich's architecture. But, yeah, Ichigo steps out and he's like, where are we? This is the Quincy streets. And everyone's like, oh, shit. And, you know, Yoruichi's like, did we possibly not reach the nail that I put in? However, she notices the nail on the floor beside her, which seems pretty lucky. Oh, well, I suppose it's not lucky. It's, wait a minute. Well, hold on. Now I've just noticed something, because the nail is clearly coming out of a hole in the ground. It's clearly coming out of a hole in the ground, but Yoruichi put the nail beside the Soul King. So it's possible, and they're staring at the Soul King's palace, so it's possible this is because of Yhwach's reshift of all the things, or maybe the nail was on a piece of debris that landed on this part of the area when the whole roof blew up last week. But it is kind of funny that they've got in this box and they've moved and they haven't actually gone anywhere. Because we see on the final page, they're now staring at Yhwach's palace. Well, they have kind of got somewhere. But we're now staring at Yhwach's palace from, like, the ground up. And it's all covered in ice, which does make me want to know about the ice motif a bit more. Like, I want to know what that's got to do with the Quincy. But yeah, they're staring up at this ice palace, and Yoruichi's like, I think we're actually in the Soul King's palace, guys, but Yhwach's reshaped the whole palace to his liking. And that's the end of the chapter. So, like I said, it's a bit disappointing. Not much happens at all. The whole chapter is basically just Ichigo and the guys get to the palace. The door finally opens. That's that. However, it is cool seeing, you know, Wandenreich's icy streets are now in the royal palace. I want to see the palace from, like, far away and see how it actually looks now. Because I wonder if it's going to be the 5 cities again. Because the cities, clearly, if they are still around, aren't in the same way they were before. Because the cities were way below the palace before, but now they seem to either be on level or the palace is actually attached to them now. So, yeah, but I do like the fact that Yhwach has changed things around a bit, which means that they probably won't find the enemies straight away. So there might be a little bit... It might turn into like a Huecamundo Las Noches situation where they all split up and run around the palace and meet bad guys and stuff, which would be kind of cool. It'd be very nostalgic. And I can see that kind of thing happening, actually. But, you know, regardless, guys, not much happened this week, so I'm going to have to drop a 7 on it. I was disappointed. The artwork is phenomenal, but I was really hoping for more content than that. But the artwork was phenomenal, and I think next week... Well, we're going to get a 2-pronged assault. Urahara's guys are going to come in probably from somewhere else, and Ichigo's guys are going to, I think, possibly do the whole last notch split up thing, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you thought of this week's chapter. Did you like it, or was there not enough content for you? What do you think is going to happen next? Please let me know in the comments below. But until next time, guys. Oh, and please subscribe to my videos. That would be nice. But until next time, guys. See ya.